Okay, let's go ahead and dig into this problem of the day. Be sure to answer the questions I ask out loud and think about how your work is the same or different from what we talk about together. There's a lot of ways you might have represented. What if we wanted to represent with a visual model? How would we do that? Say it out loud. Right. So we could start by shading 4/10 on a tenths grid for Kiara, because in the story, right, she drinks 4/10 of a gallon. And then we could shade 23/100, right, for Shekinah, because in the story she drank 23/100 of a gallon of water. 10, 20, 1, 2, 3. So who drank more? How do you know? Say it out loud. Right. Kiara drank more, right? We can see that 4/10 takes up more of the whole than 23/100. And it also makes sense because 4/10 has 4 out of 10 columns shaded, right? 23/100 has 1, 2 out of the 10 columns that are shaded. Okay, so one way you can compare decimals is to do what? Say it out loud. Yeah, right? You use a visual model, represent each decimal, and then you just look and see which one takes up more space or more area. Okay, well, what if we wanted to represent the amounts on a number line and use that to help us compare? What whole numbers would we need to put on the line and why? Say it out loud. Yes, 0 and 1. Because both decimals are between 0 and 1, right? They're more than 0, but they're less than 1 whole. Okay, and what would we partition the number line into and why? Say that out loud. Yeah, we're going to go ahead and partition this into tenths. One, because we're working with tenths here in our problem. And then two, hundredths would mean 100 partitions between 0 and 1. Honestly, that's probably just too many and too small to do on a number line. At least one this size. Okay, so I'm going to add my tenths. Great. So when we are setting up a number line to compare decimals, what's the first thing we had to do? Say it out loud. Yeah, we had to think about the whole numbers that the decimal came between and then partition the space between those whole numbers into tenths. Good. Okay, so 4/10, that's easy to put on the number line. I see it right here, right? 4/10. Now, what about 23/100? Where would that go and why? Say it out loud. Yes, it's going to go between 2/10 and 3/10 because 23/100 is 2/10 and a little more, right? So it's more than 2/10, but it's not yet 3/10. Okay, should it be a little bit closer to 2/10 or to 3/10 and why? Say it out loud. Yeah, it's going to be a little bit closer to 2/10. We'll put it right here. because 23 hundredths, right, has 3 hundredths, and halfway to 3/10 would be 5 hundredths. We're less than that, so we're still a little bit closer to 2/10. Okay. So when we're trying to add a decimal to a number line, what do we need to think about? Say it out loud. Yeah, we got to think about which 2/10 is the number between, and then ideally, which one is it even a little bit closer to? All right, I captured that key point on a visual anchor. Read it with me. Go ahead. What 2/10 is my number between, and how close is it to the next highest tenth? Another way of saying which tenth is it closer to. So, using the number line, again, which number is larger, 4/10 or 23 hundredths, and explain how you know. Say it out loud. Yeah, 4/10 is larger because 4/10 is further from 0 than 23 hundredths. Right? The further a number is to the right or away from 0, the larger the value it has. All right, so what are the inequalities that we could write to compare 4/10 and 23 hundredths? Say them out loud. Sure, we could say 4/10 is greater than 23 hundredths. We could also say 23 hundredths is less than 4/10. Either way you slice it, Kiara drinks more water.